Hello there, this is Will. I'm Dad, and I thought I'd give you guys a little preview of the first attempt that we've made at a bioactive enclosure. My horrible, shaky camera abilities. Anyway, so we got my daughter a snake. We got her an inchy clown ball python, and we decided to set up a bioactive enclosure. And the first thing we did was get some springtails and some isopods. And you see here we've got an armadillium gastroi that's hanging out over here, and then we've got, like, on the surface you see, like right there, the armadillium officinalis hanging out under the water dish here. Quite often it's where our earthworms seem to be hanging out at. Let's see. I have a magnolia bloom in here with the pods, and a lot of them seem to be hanging out in the pod. It's also where the little bit of movement that I see of springtails is as well. Now, we just misted this, so it looks, a little more wet back here, so looks like the view is kind of obstructed by the wetness. But we've got it set up. It's a 40-gallon long tank. The idea was to have half of the tank with like a moist substrate or a water dish and plenty of moss, so she could have an area of high humidity if she wanted it for times when she was shedding. And it, is more, the cleanup crews like that kind of a moist environment better, from what we've read before we decided to try this ourselves. There's the magnolia. So you can't really tell because of the wetness. Maybe if I can get the lid off, I can get a better shot at it. But basically, that's the magnolia right there. And if you reach down in there and kind of mess with it, that's where you're seeing more. See, there we go. There's some activity. They're trying to get back in there. There's the orange one that we've got, and then more. That's that officinalis right there. He's really bigger than anything in the tank. He's just this beast of an isopod, and then you can see kind of the average size of everybody else. There's powder blues in here, powder orange. They're the very first ones that we got a couple of weeks ago. We got 2 small cultures at the reptile convention in Orlando that we went to last week, or no, like 2.5 weeks ago. But it seems like the isopods are doing well, but we put 2 springtail cultures in here, and they just straight up disappeared. We literally never see the springtails, so you see like mold is kind of starting to grow in some different places. So we're going to order another springtail culture. I'm thinking Josh's Frogs maybe is where we'll get it. You don't really see here in Florida. You don't really see places to get springtail cultures, at least not in my area where I live here in north central Florida. We live like just outside of the national forest here in a little town they call Summerfield. So you don't really see this kind of stuff. There's a pet store here, but if we're able to start breeding these and get licensed to breed them, then we're going to try to provide them to local pet stores. We've got some the Dalmatians on the way here. I've also got some, what were they called? The giant orange on their way here. I have, I won't turn the camera around now that's rolling. Oh, okay. I have some more powder blues. I have the ghost isopods all on the way. And what we're going to do is, we've got this cabinet that we keep the terrarium on top of, and we're just going to put 2 cultures in each one all the way down and see if we can't breed some of them ourselves, so other people in the area can get into the bioactive enclosures. I'm thinking I need more substrate here because this is our first attempt at it, and I was kind of going off of what I was seeing other YouTubers do with theirs, and when I put it all together, it looked like a lot more substrate than it turned out to be. But now that it's been a couple weeks and it's kind of compacted down, what looked like 4 inches of substrate actually turned out to be like 2, 1.5. So we're gonna have to get some more organic soil and some more. I've tons of live oak trees outside. This is right outside of the Ocala National Forest, so leaf litter is no problem. There's a beautiful magnolia tree across the street that a guy I know lets me get, this beautiful, clusters of magnolia leaves and stuff, all from him. And so it doesn't cost me anything. They don't use any pesticides or anything like that. So, and it also gives me access, like sometimes when I go over there and search, I find more, like I found powder blues underneath his tree on the ground, just wild, here in Florida, that are in here to go along with the ones that we bought domesticated. I guess if that's what you want to call it, domesticated. But my son really likes them, so we're gonna get more. We're gonna get some Sevillas, Porcellio Sevillas. He really wants to get some of those. So next convention we go to, we're gonna get him some of those, and we're also, one of them is gonna get a frog. Or a lizard. We haven't really decided yet. In the next maybe 5 or 6 days, we're going to make a solid decision. And then you guys are going to get to watch me help my 9-year-old build his first bioactive enclosure, either for a lizard or for a frog. So stick around. In the next few days, we're going to make a decision on that. And, give us some suggestions down at the bottom. In the comment section. He wants something that he likes to play Where's Waldo, and he wants something, not a dart frog before anybody suggests them. He wants something that is cool to look at, reasonably handleable. I know you're not really supposed to handle frogs, but reasonably handleable, but hard to see. Something that's very well camouflaged, like maybe a Malaysian leaf frog or something of that nature. If you got a suggestion for something like that that's decent for, a little boy that's 9 or 10 years old and good for a beginner, let us know in the comments. I'm Will with Pet Family Adventure. You'll get to meet some of my family later this week and join us for this journey. Please keep it cool in the comment sections. We're beginners. We're learning about this as we go through trial and error. We used to be chicken farmers. We did rabbit farming in Tennessee for a time. I grew up in agriculture, and so this is our first venture out of agricultural animals and into something a little more exotic. You hear my 3-year-old running around and making as much noise as absolutely possible with a truck over here. You'll be meeting her in a few days when she's handling the snake. And this is Will with Pet Family Adventure, signing off.